me was a slight upset because I didn't expect Origin to win as convincingly. I expected Giants to lose, but not in such a
dramatic fashion.
Yeah, dramatic fashion.
Origin looked phenomenal against Giants. Make of that what you will, but we're now into game 4. The possibilities for tiebreakers are getting very interesting, especially when you consider Vitality now have a shot at the top 2.
And don't Airwaks and Shooks have a bond, both former Copenhagen Wolves junglers? So maybe that is like playing into this negative aura that we have here.
We will find out.
I doubt it though, because I think the team that is least likely to be upset is Vitality, because they have generally just a safe and kind of collected approach. And yes, they lost to G2 with a drafting error and kind of in-game error with in terms of playstyle with that Nasus pick last week. But G2 is like probably the only team that can really force an advantage that hard where it matters. I think if Vitality would have similar drafts here versus Roccat, they would actually make the Nasus work, for example.
Alright, so let's see if they decide to opt into that strategy. Didn't work out last week for them. Fiora, Lulu, Kalista. The bans Fiora, a little bit of a surprise, but we know how much Cabo likes his carries. Corki, Rammus, Nidalee, the reply, and a very, very quick lock-in of the Gragas here for Roccat. Safe and secure.
Continuous hits to the AD carry pool every single ban phase. Kalista is nearly banned every game. Corki is continuously taken off the board. Yes, he's mostly mid laner, but he was at least a flex pick. So when Lucian goes off the board, people have to be creative. Ezreal seems to be picked a lot, but that means that at least there's a chance to see more Jhin, and I enjoy that personally. I do like the early Gragas pickup. I think it's just a safe building block for compositions, and there's no really clear big first picks unless you really like Poppy that they lose out on.
I want to see if anyone is brave enough to run the Azir. It has skyrocketed in popularity today on 6-5. 3 games played, all 3 of them are losses. It seems to be the trap card that has been pulled. Poppy's already locked in there for Cabo, as we can expect.
It's weird that such a... I mean, it's a decent nerf to Nautilus, but that completely decides who is a tier 1 pick. Like these small changes. When Gragas got changed, when I read the patch note, I was like, okay, these are noticeable, but to swing a jungler from non-existence into tier 1 almost with Nidalee banned, it's such a big swing for such a small change in numbers. For Nautilus in the case, it's because his passive just gets used so often, or his Riptide gets used so often that small numbers add up to a larger amount overall.
Roccat, see what they decide to run in. Just heard from our stats man that Azir is in fact 0-7, so not only just a trap card today.
I got that from Reddit.
And
they beat our stats man to it.
Oh, you see, he's much quicker. Reddit is he, singular, one person. Got a bit trapped there myself. And there's the Jhin you were looking forward to.
I always look forward to some Jhin.
Strong front line here for Roccat. Without Rammus. Without Rammus.
Especially after casting with you 2 games to each other.
Hey, listen, you're still going to get through 2, buddy. Make sure you survive. Nautilus is one of Freddy's top played, and it would work if you want to put your eggs in the Jhin damage boat. I've seen teams just with like a Jhin Lissandra combo win games. Actually happened earlier today in the LCK.
Yeah.
Albeit it took a very long time.
I like the... I don't know where I saw it, but I saw Jhin poke comp today. Like, my memory is like fading me, but like, the main problem with Jhin very often that you have is, as long as it's not ran Jhin Woo, because I saw that in LCK, and it completely defies the purpose, because you don't need to protect the Jhin, because he'll stay out of the fight, because he's firing his ulti anyways. Right now, Roccat needs a little bit more damage though, so more sustained damage output, because Jhin alone can't carry fights. The reload, the auto attacks are too slow. Obviously, he will be out of the fight too, but he has a beefy front line to at least set up these W traps into, obviously, the ulti firing away.
Let's see if we can find any of those routes. Thresh is locked in for Nukeduck. That is just a graphical error in case anybody was wondering. Roccat looking to pull the trap card. Betsy's not played Azir this split yet. It would be the first time if it gets locked in. We're expecting a mid laner and a top laner for Roccat.
Yeah, and this is... Hello, Crocodile.
We're going back in time.
This is Freddy back to his staple pick. Aggressive. Used to be really good at it. Obviously, now you have to run Teleport, unless he's going for the Ultra Cheese with Ignite. But it kind of plays into the point that I wanted to make. With this Sivir Thresh lane locked in, you almost guarantee that the enemy will have to lane swap on you. It's going to be really hard, I feel, for Alistar Jhin to do anything because they'll get repetitively pushed in over and over. That means the Renekton will be playing in a lane swap where kind of the utility of the champion early power spike goes down. So I wonder if Rocket's going to take that 2v2, because the only way to win that Alistar Jhin is to combo aggressively and get a Jhin snare off, or get a Q flash on the Alistar, because otherwise you will just get pushed in over and over and over again unless the jungler comes and ganks for you.
Alright, unless the jungler comes to gank, Shook has had the ability to make that work. has been very aggressive in the early game. I think it's somewhat fair of Airwaks as well, albeit significantly less successful. But at least during the early stages of the split, he had some good performance. The last lock-in was LeBlanc for Nukeduck. So heavy pick comp as far as the combos and skirmish comp on the side of Vitality.
Again, not a teamfight Sivir comp, as we all know traditionally. This is, again, a double split push composition, or at least a 4-1 to say the least. Oriented on making picks, catching people off guard. Indicative that Rocket's not looking for the lane swap is the summoner spell Ignite here on Noxiak. You would never pick Ignite against this team if you plan on going for a lane swap, so it does look like they want a 2v2, and it's... I look forward to seeing the 2v2 play out, because it can go both ways. It's not necessarily a hard win for anybody else, but it's just a push advantage for Hjarnan and kaSing, and they really understand looming threat. Whenever you play against them, it's really hard to not make the gang super telegraphed, and then they just back off and you feel really dumb.
I really like that phrase, the looming threat. And I want to see how well Hjarnan actually makes that work for this particular matchup. Interestingly, with Renekton locked in, it's the first time for him this split. Is these the
so we're at
70th unique champions.
Because you lied.
I did. Yeah.
You lied about Roccat.
Yeah,
so
I did.
Renekton is the new Roccat, number 70 on the board.
I had forgotten that Extinct had played it, in fact, with Roccat earlier in the split. So, ladies and gentlemen, will the Crocodile pick up a victory here today in his first showing in the spring split? Hashtag ROC win, or will Vitality get one step closer to a spot in the semi-finals and an automatic trip to Rotterdam? Hashtag VIT win. Head-to-head is 1-1.
You just become a caster. Then you get an automatic trip to Rotterdam anyways. And you don't lose.
Oh, I like that. I must admit, the crowd has been awesome today with chants. Earlier, hearing the H2K and UOL chants like combated back and forth. It's nice to hear support for both sides of the rift, but we need to stay on screen as Vitality.
Do we really though?
Yes, we do. We do. This is now serious business.
Transcend the screen.
Not
All
yet.
Right. Deep invade
Mate,
here.
I just got on the screen.
Deep invade here to find the lanes, because I really think... I always feel like Vitality want the lanes. I'm unfamiliar with the Renekton Poppy matchup, for the great reason that I've never seen Renekton in professional play in a while, but I feel like Poppy should be able to do fine enough to survive that.
Well, there's a body slam already. Airwaks gets... Oh, that's a great interrupt! Noxiak with an aggressive pulverize. Nobody's gone down yet, but Cabo will be the first victim. First blood picked up by Tabzz. And Roccat hand themselves a great start.
Yeah, complete pincer move here. Roccat, while we were talking about stuff that didn't really matter, suddenly the Lantern comes out from kaSing and it makes you wonder why it has Thresh skilled Lantern level 1. Well, because everybody's getting caught. And Q flash here from Noxiak to find it open, uses the Ignite.
Works out.
I mean, this is bold, you know, from Vitality. See people coming here. Hjarnan, there's one Lantern for two guys. Just straight up 3-man pulver. That's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
That's what dreams are made of.
Especially for a player like Noxiak, who was removed from the Fnatic roster, joined Roccat. We heard from Tabzz last week saying that him and Noxiak have actually pretty good synergy in terms of the way they play the game. Now they can use this advantage. First blood in a 2v2? No, it won't be, because lane swap was initiated by Vitality.
Yeah, now I think it's wise to swap away. You don't want to get snowballed on. Just nullify that advantage and just start trading towers. Sivir still does final lane swap because she's so good at clearing out that wave. Obviously, we say this all the time, but we'll repeat it for somebody that hasn't heard it just yet. You want to be using spells on the creeps and hitting a tower, and for Sivir, that's absolutely beautiful here. You avoid this really aggressive early lane that now has an experience advantage on you too. So in this case, I think it's good for Vitality.
Oh, good trade here from Nukeduck. Actually, exceptionally good trade from Nukeduck. Just weaving in between those Arise calls from Betsy. Freddy and Tabzz, they're pushing down bottom. Tabzz with that reload mechanic going to be a little slower to shove these towers down.
Yeah, he's hitting the creeps over and over. So in the ideal scenario, just have somebody tanking the creeps while you wait for cooldowns to come up again, while you keep hitting the tower. Heal obviously helps a little bit keeping these creeps alive, but it doesn't really matter too much because you'll never make them live another shot. Yeah. We see there the Q, even though there's no minions nearby, from Noxiak just to prop his trample again. He really wants to get his trample off, and he doesn't want to hit this wave because this wave is the one they want to bounce. So that's why Noxiak used Pulverize on the floor, proc trample, does damage to towers, keep these minions as high HP as he can. Little nifty little trick, but it's nice to see.
Clever play then from Noxiak. helping out the team. So towers have been traded 1-1. Roccat with the first blood gold advantage and a cull already secured. That's an interesting ward from Roccat deep in the lane.
It just has become standard. This is the, I mean, phase 1 is take the tower, then phase 2 starts. You swap around, but obviously since you swap around, you want to see who's coming down lane. If it's a bot lane, you see Poppy pushing right now. She knows the AD carry is coming. It's not the top laners that wants to kind of surprise you by catching that freeze. So this is super standard mirror lanes here. The only deviation maybe if this Alistar goes for a cheesy play. You see Freddy again, you know, he will push in immediately the second he spots Sivir. The reason you want to do that when you spot him and not preemptively is because then you can get screwed over if suddenly, surprise, top laner shows up to catch that wave and you lose the early game. So mirror lane swap as expected.
Alright, so Vitality then just playing marginally from behind. They've avoided that Tabzz matchup thus far. As you can see, Hjarnan, we've caught him on camera going down bottom. Noxiak will rejoin Tabzz up top. And phase 3, is that what we're in now? Where we're going to push over the second tower?
Top laner goes top again. And then we need to look at where does the Herald go? That is kind of the important part. This is where you see some deviations, like Shook. They're trading tempo for gank here in mid lane.
Betsy is going to have a very nice slide out.
That's pretty.
And summon a spell blown for that one. Concrete Sands and the Shifting Sands used perfectly timed.
Now Rocket's pinging tier 2, so they want to push on. What I like seeing here usually is actually just take tier 1, bounce it, and then go for Herald. And then go for a second tier 2 tower push that they have to mirror, but they'll be slower on. Perhaps they actually do it. They're communicating right now.
Ooh, Nukeduck not really going to get the better trade. Tower will get secured up top, and Nukeduck actually loses most of his HP. You can see the passive on the minimap got procced.
Yeah, I like it from Roccat. They pinged the tier 2, but they're like, hang on guys, why should we? We can just bounce the wave, get Renekton ahead. Right now Vitality's on the back foot. The Herald's being taken, so this could mean that Roccat will be way quicker with a way bigger wave. What they're going to do is this wave right here that you see, building up on the bottom lane, they'll bounce that and they go for tier 2 bot lane with the Herald buff. If they don't die, this is still Europe, so we're good.
Okay, so theoretically they've gone to the play that you were hoping to see. Now we need to measure just how effectively they can pull it off.
Yeah.
Freddy's got his teleport available as well.
Exactly, so he can stay in the top lane as long as he needs, while this wave amasses in the bottom lane, and then he can teleport down, at least force enemy TP2.
In actual fact, Freddy's almost a full level ahead of Cabochard. 15 CS, Freddy's about to hit 5, Cabo's just about to hit 4.
Yeah, Freddy pushed in that wave. He's just lingering around, getting as much resources as he can here. Obviously, Vitality have to go for the mirror because they understand the game, but they'll be a lot slower. It doesn't look like they're going for like a 3-man defense here on the bottom lane because obviously they can get 5-man there, 5v3 against an Alistar with Ignite, a Gragas with E-Flash. So tier 2 may actually go down here, maybe a minute from now.
All right, let's see if Roccat can pull that one off. Cull's still continuing to stack between Hjarnan and Tabzz, and you can actually see Hjarnan making his way towards that bottom lane.
It's because Freddy pushed.
Vitality.
Freddy should have kept freezing. Just the wave could have been at a way different spot. I don't like the push because now although Cabochard is farming for free to kind of equalize that advantage, I think if Freddy throws the wave in the top lane, yeah, the play is different. And Roccat don't really have the cojones to go for the play, and they completely sacrificed that big wave they were building up with a potential Herald buff, and they're rotating to the mid lane.
So one little decision all of a sudden thwarts what was 2.5 minutes of prep, but there is an adaptation here, Crepo. Roccat, they've grouped up as 4 in the middle lane. The Herald buff comes down. Nukeduck is rooted by the Flourish, but there's no follow-up. Noxiak doesn't have access to his ultimate anytime soon anyway, and they're just going to try to put damage down. We've gone full ARAM, boys. Everybody in the middle.
Yeah, but with good reason, though. Usually you just play ARAM if you're bored. These guys are doing it with thought put into it.
Significantly better than how I play ARAM.
Yeah, but Cabochard kind of caught up here, though, giving that push that Freddy gave him. I like how Vitality adapted on the fly. They didn't go for the blind mirror. They were in time to defend their mid lane. They lost some momentum, but the damage could have been greater. And I think that's the big thing to really remember here. But Airwaks is level 6. He has bought some flash. See if he can find an opening.
Let's see if Airwaks can. So Roccat, they've got themselves off to a pretty good early game. Still maintain a semblance of control and the lead. Very good vision in this bottom right quadrant of the jungle, and Nukeduck is in trouble. The man that they were talking about was Airwaks. Body slam will bait the flash out. Airwaks decides not to follow.
Good play by Nukeduck. Has to overextend for farm, then knows he has to back off when people enter his jungle. That's the thing though for Roccat. They have the liberty to make these plays and not even make them work because they're playing in the enemy jungle. They're contesting enemy objectives. cost of failure is very low, unless Tabzz dies right here.
Oh, great headbutt away from Noxiak. Buys time for Tabzz. Deadly Flourish doesn't root anybody in place, and Cabo is instantly knocked up as the explosive cast comes down. Noxiak, the only member to go down. That could have been worse.
Yeah, we gotta question the pathing though. Good reaction by Vitality. Zero hesitation. Guys, you got way too deep in our jungle. We don't respect you here. Instant teleport from Cabochard. He may pay the price here in the top lane. I'm just gonna look over. It's not a frozen lane, so he's fine. Obviously, Freddy will get something for it, but I like the plays from Vitality. It's impressive how they're playing from behind. It's all in these little decisions. It's very hard to tell sometimes, but yeah, they're evening out the initial deficit.
Mechanically, I'm quite liking what Noxiak is doing on Alistar today. Pretty good plays. I want to see if he can make that work later in the game, but Vitality has evened out the gold. In terms of CS, with Cabo picking up that kill, he's marginally ahead of his lane opponent with about 200 gold, so all of that like positive work you did to shut him down has now somewhat gone the other direction.
Yeah, even is also ahead for Poppy because she scales slightly better than Renekton. Renekton is very early game oriented top laner. He used to be so strong because he ran Ignite and he had one of the strongest level 1, 2, 3 trades in the game with that Ignite too. More importantly, he would challenge the wave, put it in front of your tower, park the bus there, wait for the jungle, and then dive you, and then you could watch yourself die and lose your minions because you obviously didn't have teleport. You would then lose the game straight up. That's why Renekton was so strong, but now he can't push that advantage because he doesn't have Ignite, and the enemy has teleport to just TP back to lane when low.
And unfortunately, Freddy's going to get turned into a pair of shoes. Look at the minimap. There's so much support coming up for Cabo.
Why a pair of shoes though? Maybe a purse.
Purse would do as well. And Vitality will be able to go all the way to the bank, pick up some items. It's a party and it's Nukeduck. He'll grab himself that purse. Golf claps.
Clap for that kill.
I love golf claps. They are my favorite. The respect. Yes, you killed the guy who was way too deep.
It was in World of Warcraft the first time I heard the term golf clap, and I tried to imagine like what does golf to do with clapping because my English was so bad. Just had no clue.
Very interesting. I never knew that either.
Yeah, it's a cool anecdote.
I know
I'll put it in the memoirs.
Very good. I watched golf when I learned it, so.
Oh, that's actually where it's from?
Oh, but no way!
No, actually, I had no... I legitimately did not know. I was like, is this like an English word or something? No, heck, because people don't care about golf.
Trolling me.
No, I'm legit serious. Is golf that boring that people don't actually clap?
It's not boring, it's respect. It is a gentleman's sport. It is one where polite claps will be all the appreciation necessary for the golfers.
Ah.
Yes, you don't hoot while watching golf. Gentlemen,
let's hoot for
there is a curtain call coming down. Tabzz tries to clear the wave, does a very good charge. Spell shield comes up from Hjarnan. Won't be enough to keep him alive. It's pinned against the barrel, locked under the floor. And that Rift Herald push from Vitality is thwarted with a few ultis.
Yeah, little things though, like kaSing stepping back into tower range. I think Hjarnan was rooted in tower range, so there was a chance that he would get more additional tower shots on him. So kaSing stepping in for a little bit of zone, a little bit of peel. Vitality walk away with their lives. It was a good push though. Good use of Herald.
So, approaching 12 minutes on the clock, Vitality have evened out that deficit. Gigantic CS advantage for Betsy as Nukeduck has been responsible for roaming multiple times. And the tower is taken over, or knocked over, again because of the fact that Nukeduck has not really been able to go toe-to-toe.
Yeah, what's dead may never die, so a new tower gets put into place right there.
So, Betsy now has got that Sun Disc, or the Undead Disc, I guess it would be on the skin.
I like that tower.
Yeah.
The Fisher pointed out too, it's a fantastic skin. I don't play Azir, I'm not mechanically gifted enough to play that champion. I hide my weaknesses very well by playing Alistar.
You mean support? Sorry.
Support? Support and then Alistar. It's like double degrade. It's like I have 2 buttons, right?
I
also made it a lot easier for me to combo right now. Hang on.
Combo onto Tabzz. Oh, don't do it, man.
He's doing the respect walk.
It's not worth. The cocoon finds Tabzz.
So if you're an AD carry, what you need to do is you can never walk in there straight because people blame you for face checking. So what you do is you act as if you're doubting. You know that you're going to that wave because who lets that farm, the juicy farm, walk anyways? But you act as if you care about the brush and then you die.
Made a little oopsie. And the kill is secured by Cabo. 2-1-1. Boots of Swiftness, got that Sunfire Cape. He's becoming a real beefy Poppy. I want to see exactly how Freddy's going to become involved in this game because he's on a champion that's not going to have the same level of team fight. I don't think he's really going to be able to out-split push a Poppy.
Yeah, he's not built for solo 1v1 kills, which he can't get. He doesn't win the split push in the Sunfire race because Poppy is stronger. On the side lanes, everybody's losing. Sivir has the wave clear in the mid lane, at least equals it out. Now Azir is forced to go bottom lane versus LeBlanc, so that lane's kind of dead. Jhin is slower at clean waves, so Vitality now have the momentum on every action. They always act first, like they're playing chess and they're the white side. Roccat will have to react.
Let's see how they do it. There's no queens on the map just yet to counter everything. Combo comes out, Sigil into the distortion. Nukeduck with a good burst.
He's holding spells back, so he didn't want to go for a full combo because he didn't know he wouldn't kill Betsy. Just letting his presence be known here. So he doesn't know what a jungler is, so keeping some spells on cooldown.
And Vitality is somewhat committed to this 1-3-1. They've left Nukeduck alone in that bottom lane really for a while now. Cabo with TP available. He's shoving out top, and Hjarnan's on wave clear duty mid.
Actually, looking back at that trade, it's really fun to get into heads of like really good LeBlanc players. He went for QW, which means his last cast spell is W. That means he has the Mimic ready to distortion out if he needs to. He knows he can't kill Betsy, but if he goes for a full combo, gets cleansed, then gets knocked into potentially the jungler, he will die. So he could get a bigger trade-off there, but the cost of failure would be too high because he would never kill Betsy.
I like the theory. And Nukeduck, definitely one of the more mechanically adept mid laners. Still down 35 CS. Like, what does that equate to in gold? It's about 800 gold, so almost a blasting one difference.
I like his LeBlanc though. I've seen him play it against some Zeds in Dynamic or solo, you call it what you want, and he made some really good decisions. Actually, like, distorting aggressively to then dance around the shadows so you don't have to passively react to when a shadow comes out, and then really using those warps back to distortion and mimic distortion really quickly. I would get dizzy.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Really interestingly, it's the first time he's played LeBlanc the split. Whole bunch of Ahri, Quinn, GP, so slightly more I don't want to say off meta because that's not the right term, but like slightly more interesting picks.
Yeah, just not standard for him.
There we go, there we go.
But it is a meta champion that you need to master, especially once certain mid laners get banned out. You can pick it blind and still guarantee almost an even or winning matchup in a lot of cases.
Yeah, Quinn has somewhat fallen off over the last 2 weeks, banned out a lot, and now slightly less optimal.
Got us a bit of a stale mid game on our hands here. That's because of lane swaps, of course.
Yeah.
Because they kill the esports scene. Not because it's the current version of lane swaps, which are stale. No, just lane swaps in general. But Vitality like this style though. They know they have the superior shot calling late game. They have to. Let's see. Do they have to worry about scaling? You would say so, and then you look at Renekton, you're like, okay, they don't have to worry about scaling because Poppy will always have the late game pressure in one side lane, and as long as your TP lane has winning matchup and really good impact in the flank or in the fight, you're generally okay. Sivir late game does an absolutely monstrous amounts of damage too, so Vitality's fine there.
Just gotta be a little careful to avoid Tabzz getting too far ahead.
Yep.
Earlier today I was watching CJ versus Longzhu and at a 70-minute game where Jhin just kind of went off. So keep our eyes on that. Death Sentence goes wide. Noxiak is played backwards. Look at the mini-map. Has Cabochard's coming. He's flashed for this one. Airwaks and Noxiak on the front line. Freddy's TPing in. The hammer drops and that boots away. Freddy's instantly killed. He simply had zero impact and Vitality 1-0.
Yeah, Roccat looks like they buy into the play just because it's happening. It's like, okay, we're fighting. I guess we are. And Alistar goes forward, misses pulverize. Nothing happens. Cabochard came first. Freddy just TPs in and gets melted here. As a hybrid tank with good base damages, getting popped like that is a really worrying trend overall for Roccat.
Yeah. I was going to have to see how Freddy comes back into this, if he can find a flank. Rift Herald will be secured 17.5 minutes in. There's a little bit of threat, actually, because Roccat, they fancy a fight. Emperor's Divide is available for Betsy. Death Sentence finds Airwaks, and Noxiak is knocked the Nukeduck up. But it just means Airwaks goes down. Roccat are throwing themselves to the slaughter. Hjarnan takes out the Rift Herald, and another kill donated to Vitality.
Did I miss the memo? Since when do we care so much about Rift Herald? If it's Baron, maybe, but Roccat placing very high value on that objective, trying to go for the contest, but 4v5. When these pick champions have the reload on all their spells, yes, they may not have some flashes or ultimates available, but LeBlanc obviously doesn't really care. Sivir doesn't need the ultimate for combat stats. 4v5, really bold move to take that fight, and Roccat paid the price.
Yeah, they certainly do. Look at all the summoners blown on the side of Roccat. Only Airwaks has summoners available. 4 members have blown everything, whereas Vitality are looking a little healthier. So passive play expected from Roccat and Vitality. Pull themselves further ahead. Play the map game.
And Betsy will be pulled into the side lane too. That's the problem. He used to be the cornerstone, push ahead, win his matchup. But he needs to deal with this LeBlanc in the side lane. And we see why a lot of these teams are picking Sivir, because she's so comfortable in the mid game, in the mid lane with this 1-3-1. And she can run over with her ulti quickly to the side lanes if something happens, or go for some deep vision. Obviously, Sivir plays very poorly from behind. But Vitality as a team, they rarely trail. They're just so good at negating like small disadvantages and then even out the game.
And it's so important for Vitality as well. Because of the upset victories that have happened earlier today, they might be able to challenge for that second place seed. Currently in third, Vitality have got a 1-1 record with H2K. We'll see how the game continues to play out. Roccat are also potentially playing to guarantee 9th seed. If Roccat lose here, then tomorrow's matchup with Giants straight up determines who is 9th and who is 10th. So this is that long fight. Freddy actually looks like he ended up winning that trade with a full channel on the Dominus and the AoE. Cabo's in trouble now as Airwaks has come to play. It should be eventually a kill here for Airwaks. It continues to run down. Steadfast Presence will interrupt the body slam, dancing through the minions. Slice and Die should be available for Freddy, or he may have used it already. One more barrel comes out and Freddy picks up the kill. It looked like he won the 1v1 though.
Yeah, he definitely, he won the 1v1. Obviously, we're still not at the point where Poppy trailed ahead, but I think later on she should. Betsy gets grabbed here and played. Look at Shook in the side.
Let's take a look what he can do. Flashes over the wall. Betsy goes in for the Emperor's Divide, but it simply throws him too deep. They've traded 1 for 1. Bullet 1 connects. Bullet 2 finds a target. kaSing eats the third, and the fourth one will not be threaded through the needle.
No
Vitality lead. Not this time round. That'll make it way too OP.
You could bend the bullet. There was actually a design somewhere that I heard. Actually, I'm not allowed. Am I allowed to talk about that?
I don't
we'll
know.
find out. There was a bend the bullet, so you send it one way, then you activate it again, and you can angle it by 90 degrees, which is a cool.
You mean Vel'Koz Q?
Yeah, Vel'Koz Q, but then for an ultimate on like a marksman.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere. Please don't fire me. I like the design. I'm just giving you props for the design.
Betsy caught up by a great death sentence from kaSing. I don't know if Shook didn't have repel available because he went spider form and then instantly flashed the wall.
Yeah, he got gibbed. Good ultimate there though, right before dying from Betsy. We see the power here from getting that ultimate from Jhin up around like a turret from Azir, because he's very low mobility, but obviously if you have a tower defending you anywhere you fight on the map, it's easier. You could force really advantageous fights, but time is gonna be interesting in this game. Betsy on Azir is really good in late game. Azir late game damage is absolutely, for lack of a better word, disgusting.
OPL word. I knew you were going that way. I could
It's
just
actually
feel
an
it.
EU word.
I could feel it.
The EU pro players use it a lot.
OPL casters use it in disgusting
Synonym.
amount.
Find your synonym.
Excessive, extreme, large.
But is it excessive?
Impressive.
Is it actually excessive?
It is. Listen, I have a stat because you said something about time. Roccat went behind at 20 minutes, have lost all 8 games when they've been behind at 20 minutes. So,
I mean, how many wins do they have?
There's not a lot. There's 3 to the name. So it's...
Sample size.
The scary thing is, it also means in a lot of those remaining games, they actually had a lead themselves at 20. And unfortunately, because of their mid to late game shot calling, fell behind. I want to look at this Cabochard versus Freddy match, because Crepo...
I think as long as there's minions nearby, it's really hard for Freddy to push his advantage, because every time Cabochard can just proc his shield on dying minion, get it back up before Freddy can step on top of it. I also think he fought on low resources, because I don't think he should ever die 1v1. Because he has % damage, and he can cancel that slice and dice. Now he needs to re-engage.
Let's take a look. Dominus comes up. Freddy's already used his ulti, and as you mentioned...
Oh, this match is over. Like, right now, Cabochard wins. If that doesn't even put him remotely low, where the AoE shred from Freddy puts Cabochard at a disadvantage, that means from now on, Cabochard will always push. Because it's not like Renekton can magically become a better champion. His play pattern is super obvious. Slice, dice, stun, Q. Ulti. At any point in between.
At any point in between. Whatever your preference. There is a Tiamat thrown in, so that's one extra button to push. But Cabo, going to challenge for the Krug, ends up getting secured by Freddy. Cabo does not care. He's diving deep for this one, takes 2 tower shots. Even Cabo realizes he can't dive through that tower. But has continued... Yet, okay, we'll hold you to that one. Freddy readjusting on the player cam down bottom. And Vitality, they've got pressure in 3 lanes simultaneously, knocking on 2 towers. And kaSing's even zoning Betsy away through the jungle.
Yeah, they're slowly putting the foundations for a Baron play later on. getting some deep vision. Then he has to base again because he runs out of wards. Then he has to get more wards, secure the Baron area, and eventually force Roccat to face check or simply do the Baron. It's a little early for that. Roccat can still use creative pathing or come in there with one of the 3 blue trinkets. Obviously, mid tower needs to fall first. Noxiak will have to ulti here.
Oh, in so much trouble. Tabzz is gone. Nukeduck just insta-gives him 100-0, even without Ignite. That was a fantastic play.
Yeah, he just gets gibbed. Like, they just use Noxiak as a distraction cow. It's like, we're not actually going to kill this guy. kaSing going for the preemptive box. When you have faith as Thresh, what you do is you hook and you're like, okay, this guy, I'm going to box. He's going to get pulled into my box and then I can flay him. I'm slightly off on the angle there.
He might not be sitting on the right number of pillows today. Threw off the angle a little bit on the skill shot.
When your left butt cheek is slightly higher than your right one and your hook just tilts slightly to the right.
Yep, he ended up doing very well on PTL's 1v1 me, bro. No idea how he knew some of the answers to those questions. 6.6 billion acres belongs to the Queen of England. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He did.
I did.
You did. Well, I'm sure you did. Noxiak again. The bait cow. Unbreakable will. Not even needed because he flashes away. Actually, it would have been needed, but nobody from Vitality chased. And Vitality have got a 2,500 gold lead. Set up some vision.
Hang on. Look at Cabochard. Oh! How low can he go?
That would have been epic. That would have been so good if it picked up the kill, but unfortunately, Cabo's verdict is not dead. All right, the Sun Disc goes down, or the Undead Disc. I think I'm going to start trying to call it with this Grave Lord Azir skin.
Okay, he was on 60 health. I just checked, so it wasn't as...
It's not really
that exciting. It was pretty cool, though. Cabo set up his own snipe. He used the blue trinket to fight locate the cow, and then he starts swinging his hammer.
Hey, Cabo's already shown that he's a good marksman, finding all those shots. Cocoon finds Airwaks. Not a lot of support, though, from the rest of Vitality. Teleport is available for both Cabo and Freddy.
Yeah, this is what Roccat kind of want to do. Siege, poke with the soldiers, have enough backup that if Tabzz or Betsy get hit, that immediately re-engage comes out from Airwaks and Noxiak. And all they need to do is lock down one target. Stand Tabzz can just unleash or just build up a crit on the minion waves. Get 3 hits down and use the 4th one to poke. Really destructive.
Yeah.
Just need to ward your flanks. That's really important.
Get that 4th shot movement speed as well from Whisper, make it away. Spell Shield used relatively early there from Hjarnan, respecting the possibility of the Body Slam flash. And Cabo is continuing to pressure Freddy, pushed him all the way back to Tribush. The moment Roccat showed middle, Cabo played aggro. Nukeduck doesn't find anything with the ethereal chains, but the root, ooh, repelled away. Spider comes up, comes down. Shook is down. Easy kill.
Now Rockat's really strong in his 4-man squad here, though. They're pressed by time, because usually when you 4-1, you expect you want to be winning, but this matchup is already kind of outdated, outscaled, despite the early advantage. So they have forced a play here with the long-range W from Jhin, completely unexpected. Obviously, Azir soldiers can protrude so far forward to really proc that mark, and then Jhin W will snare. And that's why I like Jhin so much in poke compositions, because you have other people enabling you to actually snare your opponent. It puts so much zone, so much pressure on your opponent.
You have to dodge so many skill shots if you're a Vitality member. We're 27 minutes in. Dragon number 2 and that damage over time has now been secured. There's not a lot of MR on Freddy, but Nukeduck doesn't fancy his chances just yet. And you know, considering sort of the level of control Vitality have, their gold lead is not that much.
Well, they just exerted very well. They need to split him up, though. They need to get him back to the 1-3-1, so there's less protection here for either Tabzz or Betsy. Shook tries to be creative by going to the center of the fight, but he just get gibbed immediately. Just overextended a little bit.
Pays the price, unfortunately, for Shook. 1, 2, and 5 on his Elise. The locket completed as we hear Tabzz reloading with Jhin.
Biggest thing for this is, though, that Cabochard, his jungle gravity stat is going down. Because if you want to trigger him, just talk to him how Shook always casts for him, and he will just be like, he will be mad. It's like, I don't think you've watched the last 4 games. Because that's actually Shook has changed his behavioral pattern. Yeah. He used to play around top lane, let's not call it camping, but played a lot more around Hjarnan in the last few games overall, and right now obviously he's playing a lot around him because that's what Vitality's forced to do. Even when they 1-3-1, Shook will be in the mid lane.
Let's take a look. Cabo once again picks out the fight. Actually, don't even think Cabo really cares too much about Freddy. Pushing the wave seems to be the order of the day.
Ooh, this will be a Baron force from Roccat. They have to react to it.
TP's available for Cabo.
This is why Vitality's pathing over. They have a ward in it, so everybody's aware of what each other teams are doing.
This is going to get
Look how quick that
real
goes.
scary. Baron is being melted. Betsy with the
gone.
Sears
Noxiak
destroying it. The Baron's going low. Betsy's forced away. Shook's coming in. The delivery from Cabochard. It's secured by Roccat. That's a Baron buff. But the first kills from kaSing onto Airwaks. The jungler's down. Cabo throws out the verdict and flashes to safety. Hjarnan keeps staying alive as kaSing's death sentence goes awry. Freddy's rooted in place by Nukeduck, but no kill will follow. A 1-for-0, but Baron to Roccat.
Yeah, but I think Noxiak died with a pink ward in his inventory, and what that means is that he could have pink warded the pit, gotten that ward from Vitality, removed one of the flank opportunities from Cabochard, and then Noxiak could have played goalkeeper Alistar. The first target that comes in, you W, the second target you Q, and you just get a free Baron, and Roccat can disengage over the wall. I know it's a lot of ifs and buts and whys, but you really need to make sure that pit is clean of vision, because otherwise you give Cabochard a free point of entry, and instead of defending against one flank, you're now defending against two, and it's a lot harder as Alistar, and that's why Roccat kind of lost some members on that Baron. Look at it again. Imagine if that ward's not there. Then the center of the Baron entrance is so easy for Noxiak to play around, and then Betsy can play in the back of the pit and get out whenever he wants.
Fortunately, it wasn't the case, Crepo, and as the fight proceeds through, Roccat get a lot of damage onto Hjarnan and Cabo, but neither of them lose their lives.
Yeah, and that's really important. Well, on the side of Roccat, they remain with a lot of Baron buffs here, and now that 4-1 that we were talking about earlier, the 1 will win because of the Baron buff. Freddy, to my knowledge, did not die. Let's double check. No, he has the Baron buff.
Airwaks.
It was just Airwaks, and he doesn't care as long as one of his teammates has this. And this is a really big point of the game. Vitality trying to force Rockat's hand by rotating to the bot lane, but they leave Baron exposed, and we see the power of Azir, how quickly he can get that Baron down.
There's one advantage for Vitality. Their wave clear from Hjarnan Sivir will be relatively effective on the ricochet and that boomerang. So we're going to take a lot of time. The siege is on. The Baron power play stats are on your screen. 1 minute 24 remaining on the buffs. And Roccat have earned 1,900 gold, more than Vitality from the time they picked up that Baron. It's just basically the Baron gold for now, but they're looking for more. They're looking for CS, looking for towers. Freddy has actually joined the team as he doesn't have teleport. So it's not a 4-1 to really take advantage of that buff.
I feel like Freddy adds less to the fight than Cabochard, so removing Cabochard from the fight would probably be the better solution here. Because Vitality could actually, once the siege comes out, use Poppy ultimate on 1 or 2 members and instantly engage on the remaining 3. So I wonder why Freddy chose back to the mid lane.
Just ends up meaning the game is somewhat stalled out. And at 32 minutes in,
Still Ainsworth, man.
Crepo, we talked so much about this upset juice.
You did.
No, you.
It's karma.
You helped me out
negative
here.
air.
You helped me out here. I mean, Roccat are even with Vitality at 32 minutes. Unfortunately for Roccat, they do have a history of being a little out of position in the late game. But Vitality, they can't afford to make mistakes. They can't afford to let an Azir get to a tower at any stage, because he can destroy them.
Yeah, and the way that Roccat wants to go about that is obviously now they have Zhonya's on Betsy in case he gets caught in these 4-man group ups. And Tabzz now has, or is building towards the Maul. He has the Hexdrinker, so it's a lot harder for Nukeduck to instantly assassinate him. And then Tabzz can just fall back to the outskirts of the fight, still pop his ulti, do maximum damage. He also has that fire cannon, so when he sieges, preps the crit, 1, 2, 3, and then number 4 goes on a tower. These are all things that play into Rocket's advantage, and they're not superiorly outskilled that hard in the late game. The one matchup we still have to watch is Cabochard versus Freddy. Can he push that advantage?
So teleport available for Cabo. He's got 2-man stack up top. Shook will connect with the cocoon, but Freddy is able to slice over the wall.
And there's not really a front line in Vitality's 4 part though. If you compare Thresh versus Alistar, Alistar can always walk up and soak some damage. Or Gragas.
Ports out, can he find the lantern? Tries to make it out, won't even get the chance. Nukeduck's chains do not find Tabzz, but Cabo does. Cabo's looking to run him down. Airwaks flashes backwards. Keeper's verdict comes out. Cabo manages to take Tabzz down on the back line. Hjarnan's able to kill Freddy, and it's all left to Airwaks and Noxiak. The tanks with very little damage. Betsy tries to be the hero, but kaSing's the only one that's low. Hjarnan gets himself a double kill, and Vitality ace Roccat.
Yeah, Shook gets caught, but we see just how good Vitality is at team fighting and how all over the place Roccat is. They thought they were winning the fight because they killed the jungler. But suddenly the teleport comes in. The teleport that everybody could see on the screen for a full 3.5 or 4 seconds, whatever the channel time is. And still he gets kills. Noxiak turns around halfway during that fight to start peeling for Tabzz instead of helping out before that.
That means Vitality are looking to crack open the base. Cabo's going to tank up as long as he can. Minion line will just conga its way in. Inhibitor will drop as well. 5 seconds before Tabzz is up and alive. I think he has Curtain Call available. No, he does not. So
yeah, this Poppy really strong when he's on top of Betsy too. Didn't really think about that, but obviously it's dash. Azir moving to his soldier, so that got cancelled. Look, she'll get the kill here. A lot gets used. Keep your eyes on Tabzz. Survives the assassination from Nukeduck because he has MR. Teleport's coming. Still coming. Guess where he's going? On the AD carry, of course. Airwaks has to flash to get there. Noxiak now walking back with the W. At any point, if that was used, maybe Tabzz survives long enough. Obviously, Hjarnan's going to win the frontline battle. And an untouched Sivir, once he goes to like 3v3, 2v2, she will always win if she's on full HP. So Vitality with the far superior teamfighting here overall.
Yeah, really making it work. 360 CS, 208 for Hjarnan. And Nukeduck gets a very good chunk onto Noxiak.
Pow pow on the cow.
Forces an unbreakable will. And Vitality are just going to continue to play the map pressure.
Yeah, they're starting to pull ahead here. Sivir late game. Really big damage. Can melt now through the tanks too. As that Lord Dominic's regards picked up.
Look at that damage difference. Hjarnan 6,200, Nukeduck 4,600. I feel like 3,000 of that there or thereabouts is on Tabzz.
Yeah, Hjarnan just dealt more damage than the enemy team in that fight. Freddy going low here. Melting, obviously, as you said, not much magic resistance.
So Vitality, 4,000 gold up.
Got a race here.
Roccat, they're racing with super minions against a Sivir. And the rest of Vitality. Recall's coming in. This is late from Roccat.
I don't think you can hold without your AD carry or your Azir here, guys, because you're only playing on base damage tanks, but they're going in.
On the hunt is thrown down, and Noxiak is gone. He had no will to be broken. Airwaks is running for his life. Explosive Cask has already been used. The death sentence finds Airwaks. He's pinned against the wall. Vitality string together 2 very easy kills. They're onto the inhibitor. And they have the opportunity to finish, but play this one safe.
Oh, and I love the Poppy Thresh combo. Every hook comes out. It sets up for Cabochard to decide, do I knock him into a wall or just go on top of him and press W? Because you can cancel Slice and Dice, Body Slam, the dash from the Azir, and the Alistar W.
Yeah.
Like, there's 4 things you can cancel. Any of them you can follow up from a hook with that Poppy W.
Cabo's done that multiple times. So this was the 5v3 where just zero hesitation from Vitality.
Yeah, they see the AD carry mid, and they know Betsy's just based, so makes it a lot easier to not hesitate.
Sentence onto Airwaks. It just looks so easy for Vitality. Very, very crisp. When Shook's not being caught out of position, Vitality do exceptionally well in these.
Hey man, they use their weaknesses and make it their strengths, you know. The winning team fight was Shook getting caught.
Responding to the bait, maybe. On the hunt, thrown down from Hjarnan. Looking to run down Freddy. He's already been made into a purse. Maybe a jacket is the next item. Steadfast presence will be no slice and dice away. Cabo's still got access to the verdict. He's winding up and swinging. Knocks Betsy away. Vitality on low hit points, and Airwaks still has access to the cast. Decides not to use it just yet. kaSing is down. Trades his life for Noxiak's. Curtain call. Shot ones, 2. Wide. The third connects, and Shook is assassinated. Tabzz takes him down. It's a 1 for 3. The Roccat win.
Yeah, that's a big crit right there to seal the deal on the last proc of that ultimate, and it just confirms what you can't ignore is the fact that Betsy and Tabzz deal incredible amounts of damage when not challenged. And Betsy, you saw it, you were watching Hjarnan in that fight, whack away, and suddenly 2 soldiers get their eyes on Betsy, and suddenly or on Hjarnan rather, and he was half HP immediately. Right now, Roccat looking to force a Baron on the back of that play. Nukeduck can challenge him now though. There's way less peel since Airwaks is in the pit.
And Nukeduck's got access to his Ignite. There's a flash available from Hjarnan, and he's around. Freddy's coming in from behind. Captive Audience is a small trap to slow things down. Freddy has found Hjarnan. Not going to be able to get the kill, but Airwaks secures the second Baron of the game for Roccat. Nukeduck tries to mimic the sigil, and Betsy survives. Got some MR, got an hourglass.
Man, that was
away.
Greedy fight from Vitality, overextending when they could have opted out of that fight at any given point. You really don't want to walk into a kiting Azir. Let's watch that again. Just keep your eyes on the 2 carries. Keep your eyes on Betsy and Tabzz and see if they get challenged. The rest doesn't matter. It's all cannon fodder here. So they're whacking away, full HP. Hjarnan right now is going to get turned on. 1, 2 soldiers whack. Half HP right now. Still, Tabzz is fully alive. Betsy gets disengaged out of the fight and he gets a free trip home. Nukeduck goes for the flash into Distortion W, which is really smart, but he doesn't get enough damage here to take them down. Betsy re-enters the fight, and here we go. Something like 15 or 1300 damage I got whispered.
1526, I think it was.
You think it was?
1529. 1529. All right, I got my 9 and my 6 upside down, but I was waiting for it, I won't lie. I was anticipating
The read.
Yeah, I mean, my play-by-play at the time was like count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4. That's all I was doing.
Willie, do you want to be a play-by-play caster? Can you count to 4? Apply now.
That's it. That's all you got to do. Count to 4. Let's see principles. So, Roccat, Baron buff, 2,000 gold down. We're approaching 40 minutes and Vitality are punished for a team fight. Teleport is not available for Freddy. He is grouped up with Roccat and the Undead Disc.
Cabo has a flank though. He wants to TP on a ward, flank and get behind the enemy lines because he really wants to get access to Tabzz or Betsy, then cancel their dashes. In the case of Betsy, obviously Tabzz doesn't have one, that's why he wants to get onto Tabzz.
Oh, Freddy realizes he needs 2 lives to be relevant. He's got the GA. Banshee's Veil is available for Cabo. Nukeduck is continuing to poke down Airwaks.
So hard to engage though, even if you find an opening, because that turret's there. Like, if Betsy can cleanse flash into his turret range, that deals so much damage over a long fight.
Freddy, he eats the chain, and that's a lot of damage put down. Frontline is being whittled away. The cannon, you do mean Tabzz? Or no, the minion?
The actual minion.
Maybe both of them, in fact. Second cannon has arrived.
Is it grand?
Barrel comes down. It will be grand if Roccat can knock over an inhibitor. There's still 50 seconds left on Baron. Airwaks is the man that eats the chain, and Vitality are in trouble. Cabo's dashed forward. The lunge and the steadfast presence. Nukeduck gets chunked out. Big hit from that soldier. And Vitality now are the ones that have to defend.
Yeah, and this is what we've seen traditionally in the past too. 2 carry comps can work if your front line can keep them alive. Here we go though.
Oh, look
Flank
at the side lines! Airwaks has caught Nukeduck, but it won't be enough for a kill. Super minions, the Winions! Vitality's going for the base. They've lost Hjarnan and kaSing. Cabo's got a teleport. Does he TP into the Nexus? It has to be an option because Roccat are in a 5v3. I don't know who's going to finish it. Shook is trying to buy time here. Cabo, has he opted to defend? Look at the mini-map. There's pressure. Cabo sticking in his base, Crepo.
Oh my god, this looks so close here. Cabo could have went for the maybe TP bait to make them back off right now. The minions though. Oh, down. This can be the game here. Betsy does so much damage.
He really does. 5 members of Roccat. They're onto a Nexus turret. Nukeduck is forced to retreat and to heal up. Cabo's trying to do the best he can, but he's got no keeper's verdict. Nexus turret number 2 is still alive. Minions are miles away. Roccat are tanking up the turret. Nukeduck is trying to get Airwaks down. Will be unable to secure the kill. Freddy stays alive with Cold and Meek. Emperor's Divide pushes Vitality away. Roccat finally start losing members. Airwaks, Noxiak fall quickly. The Nexus is going down. And for the second time this split, Roccat destroy Vitality.